welcome back. welcome back to the TCAT 10-minute take. It is I, your host, Trey L. Stewart, watching movies for you. And with me, as always, is my intrepid co-host, Don the Legend Chambers.
Yes.
And today we are taking a turn to the Amazon Prime of it all, and we're watching a movie that was put on Amazon, that Amazon bought and released, where I think it was supposed to come out in theaters a year ago, like right at the start of this whole pandemonium. So we're almost The Tomorrow War, so Chris Pratt. So before we get started, though, make sure you click that subscribe button and you click that bell to get all the 10-minute takes as soon as they drop. And as always, Mr. Chambers will go first. Blam.
The Tomorrow War, starring Chris Pratt. I like Chris Pratt. I like his kind of a shtick that he's sort of in now, is sort of like a likable every guy. You know, he's not so much a schlub anymore, like in Parks and Rec. You know, he's gotten himself in shape so he can do sort of action hero-y stuff, and he has a good comedic timing in him. And that's his strong point. I will say in the Tomorrow War, I like the action sequences. I especially like the first action sequence he got thrown into. I was like, wow, this is exciting. And I thought the monsters were pretty fucking terrifying as well. So I said, okay, maybe we're onto something here. And then later I realized, okay, maybe we're not. So I will say this. On an action movie standpoint, I liked it. I thought it had great sequences. I thought they looked great. I thought the effects were on point. I thought the monster was cool. Even though it's sort of ish, this same thing that movies now have in their monsters. Like another good example would be like A Quiet Place, where it seems to be these sort of gangly leg creatures that just seem to be about killing, mindless, nothing else.
They're hungry.
Yeah, and they just want to kill everything that moves, which I'm like, oh, okay, we'll still go with that. But these
monsters gotta eat.
Monsters gotta eat. But I will admit, these were terrifying to look at, and the visual effects were impressive. You know, if they used any practicals in this, which I think they did, it was seamless to go from a practical to visual. The one thing that sort of, it didn't kill the movie for me, but I was just like, parts of the logic in this, to where they found what could kill them, and then they sent it back, which I got. And then when they sent it back in time, then they had to go on this other weird, crazy adventure when I'm like, wait a second, you've got the cure, mass produce it to all the countries in the world, you know when they show up, you know where they show up. Just kind of hold on to it till the future there, and then you can take care of it that way. It was a little weird. I didn't get that. And then
they were trying to prevent all the deaths, not just let them kill a couple in Russia and then.
But there wouldn't have even been, because they know exactly where they come from. They know where they're going to be. You know what I'm saying? You could just, empty out that place, have all your soldiers there with that anti-venom thing or whatever it was. Shoot.
Well, I guess they couldn't, though, because they couldn't get them. They couldn't get the political people on board. That was the plan A, and the political people were like, nah, we're fighting right now. We don't have the money for that. We don't have the resources for that. We don't even believe you. Which on paper sounds dumb, but after the year and a half that we've had, I totally bought that shit. I was like, yeah, that's how that would go down.
Now, you do have a point, because in movie logic, it didn't make any sense. But now,
if I saw that script, I'd be like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
No one in their right mind would react that way.
But now,
after
this year and a half of pandemic and seeing how stupid people are, you're right. I can't put it past
This
it.
panda bear has been crazy.
It is ridiculous. I thought the little thing of him going into the future and his daughter and that issue there, I was a little okay, maybe a touch melodramatic for me. Like Jesus Christ, he ends up being this terrible parent and all that sort of stuff. I was like, oh my God, like
Where would you put it on our scale?
it's like, oh okay, we're like woo. So I don't know if that was necessarily. I don't know if that was necessary, but fine, a little schlocky. Um, and then I didn't even see the point of the J.K. Simmons character because with him there or not, he wasn't like a vital piece, and I don't know if he was meant to provide some sort of emotional growth.
J.K. Simmons is always a vital piece.
But within this story, his character,
not have you besmirched
his character,
the wealth of character that J.K. Simmons brings to every project.
I love J.K. Simmons, but his character, I was like, I don't know if he was really necessary. But that's neither here nor there.
Where would you put it on our scale?
I would give it 6.5 to a 7 because, again, action movie wise, it was very enjoyable. It was very cool. It was very actiony. Like, I mean, they had some black characters that lasted like to the end, and I was impressed. I was like,
that's my whole thing about this entire movie. Is this the pro-blackest monster alien unintentionally sci-fi movie I have ever seen, ever. There were so many black characters, not just one black guy who does the black guy sacrifice and dies, or the one black guy who's like a badass. Like, they were all different, totally different. They were real people that had different motivation. They had motivations and ideas and thoughts and like redemption arcs and saving the day and like having, stakes, like actual black people in this world that existed. And that was freaking revolutionary by accident, I feel like, because maybe I don't even know why and it was so crazy that it stood out. Like, we have not been seeing this ever. And I can't even think of a movie that had this many black characters.
Action movie.
That were so different. Like, there were actual characters with actual names and actual personalities and did stuff that meant stuff. And it was bananas. It blew my mind. That alone makes this movie worth the movie ticket to me. Like, the novelty of it all.
That's true.
Chris Pratt was his prattiest. I mean, he's all right for me. My prejudice against Yvonne Strahovski is only because that The Handmaid's Tale. Like, I hate that bitch. But she's fine in this. I just hate her so much.
Ooh, you have flashbacks to another show. Jesus.
So much, because she's so hateable on that show. J.K. Simmons, I feel like his only reason really for being there was because of that, like you said, that weird turn of Chris Pratt's character as being told from the future perspective. That was his point of being there, was Chris Pratt became his father, like,
or not to end up like his father in a sense,
right? Like, that was like, how did he get that way? This is how he got that way, because the war messed him up, and he pulled himself. He's like, they were using him as an analog to justify that thing that otherwise wouldn't make sense because it doesn't track with the character that we know.
Right.
Like, the character that we were given would never do that. And so we had to have like some kind of a reason, justification, a feeling of he's following this path because it's the only path that he knows, because it's the path set for him by his parents. So I get that. I totally get that. And you can never go wrong with the J.K. Simmons. Like, I'll take it. Like, in any movie, in any capacity.
My
I'm
goodness.
I'm here for it.
So what
Sam
would you give this
Richardson was
movie?
really good. I would say I would give this movie a matinee movie ticket worth a matinee.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that.
Seeing it on Amazon Prime, it's a ton of fun. It's super dumb. The time travel logic of it all really sticks in my craw a little bit because it doesn't make any sense. Where you can't change just me thinking about it the way that we've been thinking about time travel so much with all this Marvel stuff, and that's our own personal prejudices. Like, you can't go back and change the past and then have that be your new future. Like, them doing that wouldn't all those people disappear? But then wouldn't that, like, it would create a weird paradox. If they were able to go back and stop this thing from happening the way they do, then they wouldn't be there to come back. And then they wouldn't be there to go to the future to get the antidote to, like, it would spiral into a paradox of impossibility if it works out the way it works out, which, you know, we don't know how time travel works in this movie. Like, maybe it was just branch realities where they go back and they change a thing and then that's a new timeline. But that thing still happened somewhere to somebody, the war, the way it's shaked out. Like, and so, but they don't explore that, so we don't get that. So we're just left with the Austin Powers mode of time travel, which is it's just a movie. Don't think about it. Like, like don't think about it too hard. Don't try to Rick and Morty yourself in here. Don't you know, Marvel will actually this and this. Don't, you know, neck beard it up. Like, it's just, it bees what it do.
It bees what it do. It's just a popcorn movie.
It's a popcorn
Enjoy
movie.
it.
There's scary aliens. There's fun people. There's stupid logic. There's cool special effects.
Exactly.
Just roll with it.
And what we need you to do, hit that subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure you do that so that way you're always notified and you always can check in with our YouTube channel here to see all of our new reviews that we post here. Also, to make it easier for you, we've got a webpage, tcatnetwork.com. We've got all the links to our YouTube, our podcast, as well as Good Morning Antioch and The Reading. So make sure, again, subscribe, hit the bell, always be notified, stick around because we've got more great stuff coming. So until then, see ya.